looks confident.
Hey there, champs. Welcome to PRO Wrestle Insider, your WWE update station. Hit that bell and let's step into the ring. Last night on Raw, Backstage was thick with anticipation. Every step, every whispered conversation, every glance carried the tension of a room waiting for history to unfold. The WWE Universe had been buzzing for days, weeks even, about the masked man who had blindsided CM Punk with Seth Rollins' signature stomp at Survivor Series War Games. Rumors, theories, and speculation had circulated endlessly, but tonight, the wait was over. Triple H, the cerebral strategist and master of timing, finally stepped forward to bring clarity, control, and authority to a situation that had consumed the roster and fans alike. A private assembly Triple H didn't make a public announcement. There were no cameras rolling for the dramatic reveal, no flashing lights or music cues to distract from the gravity of the moment. Instead, he gathered the key players, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and security personnel, into a private, tightly controlled area backstage. The air was heavy with tension. Every individual in the room could feel it, like standing on the edge of a storm. The questions that had haunted WWE for weeks hung in the air. Who attacked Punk? Why? And what did this mean for the fragile alliances now teetering on the edge? The authority speaks. Once everyone was assembled, Triple H wasted no time. Known for his directness and calculated presence, he began with authority. "The investigation is complete," he said, his voice steady, carrying the weight of both command and anticipation. "The reveal you've all been waiting for will change the landscape. It will redefine relationships, test loyalties, and set the tone for what comes next." The calm in his voice belied the tension in the room, creating an invisible weight that pressed on every shoulder. The moment of truth. With a slow, deliberate motion, Triple H signaled for the masked man to step into the light. The figure obeyed without hesitation, moving with the same controlled, measured steps that had become a signature of mystery and menace. The black hoodie, the deliberate posture, the aura of precision, every detail was intentional, every movement calculated to maximize impact. The room seemed to pause collectively, as if even time itself respected the gravity of this moment. The unveiling. Then came the mask removal. The moment was electric, almost cinematic in its execution. Punk's face froze, a mixture of shock, disbelief, and dawning comprehension spreading across his features. Seth Rollins muttered under his breath, a quiet acknowledgement of the narrative twist that had finally arrived. Triple H stood at the center, calm and commanding, letting the silence stretch just long enough for the full weight of the reveal to settle in. The masked man was no longer a shadow, no longer an abstract threat. He was real, tangible, and inescapably part of WWE's evolving story. A warning, not a betrayal. Triple H's words following the reveal were deliberate, precise, and layered with meaning. "This wasn't a betrayal," he said, looking at both Punk and Rollins with piercing authority. "It was a warning." The statement reframed everything. What had seemed like treachery or personal vendetta was, in fact, a strategic move, a calculated disruption meant to shift dynamics, challenge assumptions, and test the instincts of everyone involved. Alliances would be reconsidered, trust would be measured, and the masked man's presence now carried the weight of both intrigue and influence. The power of mystery. Even in the act of revealing the masked man, Triple H maintained an air of controlled tension. The story's suspense had been carefully constructed over weeks, and the reveal did not end the intrigue, it deepened it. Fans, commentators, and superstars were now left to interpret motivations, anticipate moves, and understand the broader implications of the masked man's actions. Mystery, when wielded with purpose, becomes a tool that engages audiences, drives speculation, and elevates storytelling beyond the immediate spectacle of matches. Authority in action. The interaction between Triple H and the masked man exemplified authority exercised with subtlety. He did not need to shout, threaten, or exert dominance physically. His presence alone framed the event. By orchestrating the reveal in a controlled environment, he ensured maximum impact while maintaining order and focus. The masked man's compliance, posture, and composure reinforced the narrative of control, demonstrating that true power is as much about strategy as it is about strength. Lessons in timing. Timing has always been a hallmark of effective storytelling in WWE, and this reveal was no exception. Triple H understood that anticipation magnifies impact. By withholding public exposure, controlling the context, and allowing the masked man's identity to remain hidden until the precise moment, he created a narrative crescendo that made the unveiling unforgettable. The careful orchestration of timing ensured that both the roster and fans felt the weight, significance, and implications of what had occurred. Impact on the WWE Universe. Even without cameras capturing every angle, the backstage revelation sent ripples through the WWE Universe. Word spreads quickly in an environment built on attention, speculation, and fan engagement. The reveal of the masked man not only answered lingering questions, but also set the stage for future storylines, conflicts, and alliances. Triple H's orchestration ensured that the moment would resonate, be analyzed, and influence perception for weeks to come. A new dynamic. The unveiling created a new dynamic between all involved parties. Punk and Rollins were forced to reassess their understanding of events, motivations, and possible future confrontations. The masked man's presence now carried significance beyond the immediate action. He became a narrative pivot around which future storylines would revolve. Triple H's careful guidance ensured that this dynamic would generate sustained interest and layered storytelling. Psychological influence beyond physical action. This reveal was a masterclass in psychological storytelling. Triple H leveraged anticipation, suspense, and revelation to engage the audience on multiple levels. The masked man's controlled demeanor, combined with the authority of Triple H, created a layered narrative in which understanding motives, interpreting signals, and anticipating consequences became just as important as watching the match itself. The aftermath. As the immediate reveal concluded, the implications began to unfold. Backstage, conversations shifted, strategies were reconsidered, and subtle changes in alliances started to emerge. The masked man's actions, now contextualized, became a reference point for decision-making, caution, and planning. Triple H's orchestration ensured that the storyline would have depth, continuity, and resonance beyond a single moment of exposure. Setting the stage for what comes next. The reveal was not the conclusion. It was the beginning of the next chapter. With the masked man's identity exposed under the careful supervision of Triple H, the WWE Universe is now poised for evolving storylines, strategic confrontations, and unexpected twists. The controlled environment, the deliberate pacing, and the psychological layering all ensure that the impact of this moment will extend far beyond its immediate occurrence, setting the stage for weeks of engagement, analysis, and anticipation. Conclusion. Mastery of control. Triple H's management of the masked man's reveal demonstrates a mastery of both narrative and authority. By controlling timing, context, and environment, he elevated a simple identity reveal into a multi-dimensional moment of strategic impact. The WWE Universe now understands that the masked man's actions were intentional, the revelation purposeful, and the lessons clear. Control, timing, and influence are as powerful as any title or physical victory. This backstage moment will shape the direction of future storylines, alliances, and character arcs, reaffirming Triple H's legacy as one of WWE's most influential and calculated minds.